Okay, we have been graphing lines, equations in two variables for about a week and a half now. So we're going to look at a different way to graph a line. This is by using the intercepts. So we're going to be talking about the x and y intercepts. You've kind of been introduced to the y-intercepts, but we're going to look at the x-intercepts as well and make lines from those. The x-intercept of a line is going to be that x-coordinate of the point where the graph crosses the x-axis. So just like the y-intercept is where the line will cross the y-axis, the x-intercept is where the line's going to cross the x-axis. One thing that's very important to know is that when you have an x-intercept, it's going to be an ordered pair. Y will always be 0. So when you have the ordered pair for an x-intercept, let's say your x-intercept was -4. X will be -4, the y-coordinate will be 0. So the y-coordinate in any x-intercept will always be 0. So since linear equations can be graphed using 2 points, we're going to look at the way of graphing by using the x and y intercepts. So these are the steps that you're going to take in order to graph using intercepts. We're going to use this example, 2x plus y equals -3. The first thing you want to do is get any equation that you're going to graph into slope-intercept form. And we talked about that in the previous video. Slope-intercept form is y equals mx, sorry, that should be plus b. So that y equals mx plus b format is how we want to write this equation here. So 2x plus y equals -3. We're going to subtract the 2x on both sides. So that this will cancel out. The 2x is going to zero out. And we're going to have y equals -3 minus 2x. Now remember, you can also write that as y equals -2x minus 3. That means our slope is -2 and our y-intercept is -3. So we know the y-intercept straight from the slope-intercept equation. So the y-intercept is going to be 0, -3. Remember, a y-intercept, the x-coordinate is always 0. Now we're going to take our equation and find the x-intercept. So we're going to substitute 0 in for y in our equation. So we're using the same equation, but now we're going to find that x-coordinate when y is 0. So now we're going to find our x-intercept ordered pair. So since an x-intercept, the y-coordinate is always 0, we can put a 0 in for y. Then we are going to solve the equation for x. That way we know what the x-intercept will be. So I'm going to add 3 to both sides. So 3 is equal to -2x. I'm going to divide by -2. So x is going to be equal to -1.5. -1.5. So our x-intercept is at -1.5, 0. Our y-intercept is at 0, -3. So now we can graph this equation with just those 2 points. So remember, our equation was y equals -2x minus 3. Messy, but got some numbers there. Y-intercept is at 0, -3. So I'm going to be at -3 on the y-axis. The x-intercept was at -1.5, 0. So it's at -1.5, which is right between -1 and -2. So that's where it's going to cross the x-axis. Now you can take your ruler and connect those. I'm going to do it very quickly with that one. But that's going to be what our line will look like for y equals negative 2x minus 3. Let's do one more example. We're going to graph the equation y plus 1/3 x equals 7. So we are going to first find, the y-intercept, and that is by solving this equation for y so that we have it in slope-intercept form. So I'm just going to subtract 1/3 x on both sides. So my slope-intercept equation is y equals negative 1/3 x plus 7. Remember, that's your y-intercept. So our y-intercept is going to be at 7, which is 0, 7. That's going to be one point that we're going to graph to make our line. Now we use that same equation, put 0 in for y to find out what the x-coordinate will be. So using the y equals 1/3 x plus 7, we're going to put 0 in for y, subtract 7, so negative 7 is equal to 1/3 x. To solve that, we'll multiply both sides by 3. So we're going to get a big number here. X is equal to negative 21. So that means our x-intercept is going to be at negative 21, 0. So we have our y-intercept and our x-intercept. We graph those 2 points, connect them with a line or a ruler to get our line. So we'll do more of these in class, plenty of examples, finding the x and y intercept and using those 2 points to make a line.